Hello, everyone, and welcome to the November episode of the Nightmares to Miracles podcast. I'm here with Dr. Dave Asomaning, and together we're going to talk about miracle mindsets today. My name is Brittany New, and I'm an entrepreneur living in Europe. I'm originally from California, but I live in Europe now. And so together we meet every month virtually. We've never met in person, and Dave will tell you a little bit of the backstory of how we met and how we started doing this show together. But if you're new here, then welcome. And today we're going to talk about a lesson from A Course in Miracles, which is the text that Dave likes to use, which has kind of formed his theories on miracle mindsets. And he has a Ph.D. in this type of information. So it's really an honor to share this stuff with you guys and learn about how we can think on a more higher spiritual, miracle-minded level, especially in these kind of days today. So Dave, why don't you continue by introducing yourself and telling us more about what you do?
Excellent, Brittany. Thank you for that layup and intro.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you again for our November show. And yes, so I live in Florida and love living in Florida. It's just an amazing place. The plants and some of the animals remind me of where I grew up in Ghana, West Africa, until I was 17. Although I must say I was born here in the United States and left for Ghana at the age of 1. That all has to do with what my parents were up to. But yeah, so I love this miracle mindset work that I'm involved in and that we do the show around, and Brittany, that you help to bring out things for our audience around. So miracle mindset, sort of builds on what I define a miracle as. So a miracle to me is a solution to a problem that seems impossible to solve. And that sort of a problem could be a health problem, it could be a money or wealth problem, it could be a relationship problem, or it could be an existential sort of a problem around life and the meaning of life and the purpose of life. So these 4 categories I refer to as health, wealth, love, and enlightenment. And I work with CEOs, executives, and entrepreneurs to support them to convert their miracles to nightmares. Right, so that's the name of the
Other
book.
way around, they're nightmares to miracles.
What did I say?
I think you said you convert people's miracles to nightmares.
Wow.
We don't want that.
Thank you for catching that. That's a huge Freudian ego slip, however you want to describe it. So thanks for catching me on that. So yes, so let me make sure I'm not still in a daze from the tornado. That's sometimes my mouth, I think, moves when my mouth is, my mouth moves when my mind is still shell shocked from a little bit from that experience, and they're not matching up. So thank you. So so from nightmares to miracles, right? So clients can have relationship nightmares, they can have money and business nightmares, they can have health and wellness nightmares. So it's my privilege and joy to work with very successful, very accomplished people who themselves influence a lot of other people, and to have their trust and their confidence to help them in a very deeply private way to work on the things that are troubling to them. And so that's one of the reasons, actually, why there isn't a lot, at this point, there isn't a lot of personal texture and color to what I say about my clients, right? Because I'm still in the space where I want to keep what they share with me and what we work on really deeply confidential as much as possible. So in any case, miracle mindsets are built on that definition of miracles, solutions to problems that seem impossible to solve. And then we're working on nightmares to miracles. And all of that is sort of gathered together in what we refer to as a miracle mindset process. And this show is intended as a very specific resource to help anyone who's interested in miracle mindset and developing and nurturing their miracle mindset as we continue to learn about this year to year. So I make that point because over time my work has shifted to wealthier and wealthier people. Right, that's just an interest, a passion, a focus, and so the fees for my coaching might feel a bit prohibitive in some cases, and then the book, which is a Kindle and a paperback on Amazon mostly, and then also YouTube library that we have, which is our visual podcast or the audio podcast or the blog, they're all available, at no cost. I mean, the person could just, except for the books, the podcast material is just available. And Brittany, you and I were laughing the other time when I said to you, I have wonderful, wonderful people in our audience who tell us that they binge watch our materials. So they'll watch the a whole year's worth of materials if they're on a drive or something like that. So that's all by way of introduction. Um, we have these annual themes that we work on, right? So the theme that we've just finished for 2024, which ended with the October show, was on vision in A Course in Miracles. And we're starting now our theme for 2025. I like to start the theme for the new year 2 months before we get into the new year. So November and December are dedicated to our new theme on light in A Course in Miracles, light. And so that's where we are today with the first call on light. Lesson 44 is the lesson we're going to look at in a minute for that. And I thought that two things. One, that light, for us to study light over the course of the next year, would amplify maybe some of the things that we've worked on in vision, because the two seem to go hand in hand. But again, we're not talking about external physical vision, we're talking about inner spiritual vision. And then I always laugh at myself when I say this, and I was sharing this with you earlier, Brittany. I was like, yeah, we did this theme on light in 2015. That's almost 10 years ago. And I don't really remember anything consciously from what we did in the group study we did on this. So it seems like a good idea to do it again. So it just seems funny. And again, I don't say that we didn't learn anything, but it's just not conscious. So this time, I want to be more conscious, and it'd be beautiful that we'll have the recording and we'll have it documented. All right. Now, on a personal level, I also used lesson 47. This will be my third year going into using lesson 47 as a kind of anchor lesson. I did it. I've done it for the last 2 years, and I really, really love this lesson. It picks me up in amazing ways. It keeps me focused. So lesson 47 says God is the strength in which we trust. And it's really just making the point that trying to rely on oneself without the divine is an exercise in futility. And I've come to really embrace that, and not grudgingly or anything. It doesn't make me feel lower than or less than anything or anybody. It's like I know that if I don't tap into the divine, I'm going to lose my way. Contrary or in spite of what Freud said about religion being the opiate of the masses. Okay, so let me pause here, see if there's anything you want to comment on, Brittany, and then I'll give a little bit of the backstory that you alluded to earlier about how we got to working together.
Sure. Normally, I don't have anything to say at this moment, but I'm a little curious on the quote that you just gave from Freud. Can you elaborate on that? What did he say? God, religion is the opiate of the masses.
I think it was Freud, or maybe I'm mixing it up, and it
Oh.
was Karl Marx. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
And what is that?
let me just look
What
it
does
up
that
and
mean?
see let me look it up as we go along. So
Oh, sure. Yeah.
just to be,
Fact checkers.
yeah, I
Just
know,
kidding.
right? Yep. Because it's been a while. So just give me 1 second here. Opiate of the masses. That's what I'm typing in. Opiate of the masses.
All right, I'm doing it too.
Okay. And then, yeah. So,
It's
yeah.
attributed to Marx.
Yeah. So it's a phrase that the phrase that refers to religion as is derived from a quote by Karl Marx. The quote is often paraphrased as "Religion is the opiate of the masses." So anyway, it's the reason that I mixed it up with Freud is that Freud had a similar kind of understanding that we as human beings need a parent to take care of us. So it's actually something that emerges from human development psychologically, which is that we're children and we need a parent to make us safe and provide for us. And we've just taken that concept and projected it into the skies and the heavens and turned God into like some big cosmic parent to take care of us. But it's actually an infantile defense or psychological mechanism, right? So you can see that I don't know Marx well, but he's just saying it's a drug. Religion is a drug that the powers that be use to numb and pacify um, uh, oppressed people, in the economic class wars between upper and lower and things like that. And I think that to some extent you see it in the history of slavery and how some of that was conducted, right? Where I think in North American slavery anyway, that slaves were taught parts of the Bible that would enjoin them not to rebel against their masters, not to protest, but to be very, yeah,
Obedience.
exactly. So again, this is like a big goulash and stew of different things, but
Okay.
this is not my area. So to all the people out there who listen with much sharper ears, mea culpa and forgive me. Anything you want to say?
No, that's great. Yeah, that's good.
Right. So I mean, you can see how if you're a scientist or a rigorous intellectual or a person who prides yourself on thinking straight and clearly, these two giants of human intellectual history are saying, "Oh, that's a no-no. You're a weak-minded person in some way, shape, or form if you believe in God." Right. And that's why I was saying, yeah, I'm completely unapologetic. I'm like, it's like driving a car these days without a GPS, it's like, would not do it. There's no point, it's so easy to use it to get unlost. So, all right. Thanks. Great question. Anything else?
Nope, that's all. Thank
Okay.
you. You can
All right.
continue with the how we started the show series.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So thanks for acknowledging that I like to do that.
Yeah.
So the way that this started was at some point it dawned on me that I was sending worksheets to my clients to help them prep for our work and to hold on to certain things that I thought were really important. But the worksheets were in Word and they were very basic. I mean, they would not win any prizes for aesthetic refinement at all. I mean, they were just so plain and bland and actually even kind of ugly. Even though the message was a good message. And I didn't know how bad they were really until I discovered you, Brittany. And I was like, oh, okay, let's give this a try and see. And man, the stuff that you return to me to use with my clients is just amazing. Fabulous looking, professional, color schemes. I mean, just font design, everything was just like you took it off my plate and helped me with something I didn't even really know the extent that I needed, this for. So that was the worksheets, right? So we did that for a while and really proud of the things I was sending out to clients. Every time I had a reason to send something, I was like, yeah, okay, I feel good, thanks to Brother James Brown. So now, after that, we got to video modules, right, for my online course. So I was obsessing about how to get an online course together. And I had a few very rudimentary audio recordings that I had made. And I checked in with you. I was like, yes, it's not a foregone conclusion that she would do this, but let me ask, And so you were like, yeah, I can help you. No doubt. I can help you with that. So you made beautiful video modules with music and intros and outros. And just, again, I was amazed. Now, I'm feeling like all of this is a miracle to me, right? It's like, wow, Brittany is so amazing. She's just helping me out. And then the online course was repurposed, excuse me, with a lot of editing and a lot of consulting with people and a lot of, reformulating things. It was reformulated into the book, the Nightmares to Miracles book. Um, but again, the attractiveness of the course was a launching pad for doing the book, right? It's like, yeah, okay, I can, it was very encouraging and empowering to have the modules done for the course, online course. So, and then, this would be I think, the third major request of you. I was thinking about it, praying about it, meditating on it. And I was like, I want to do this monthly show, like a podcast, but I want to do it very different. I want to do it once a month. And I definitely don't want to do it by myself. If I could have somebody who's like a sidekick, some of the talk shows, radio talk shows do, or some of the TV shows do, that would be really great. So let me pray about it. And then I asked you, Brittany, I was like, would that be something that would interest you? I don't know if it's in your area. And you were like, yeah, no, I would be glad to do it. And there's bonuses that you came with too, which were really that you would take the raw video, such as from today's show, right, and then edit it again with excellent music intros and outros. You would post it for me and for us and our effort here, and then you would convert the video into an audio podcast and also into a written blog. And I was like, wow, this is so amazing. It's so miraculous. It's stuff that I'm not thinking about, and you have all the tools and the skills and the know-how, and you do it really, really well. So that's the story of what we've been doing, and we're entering our fifth year. And as you mentioned before, I always like to make the point that technology used judiciously and wisely is so amazing because we've never met, you know, and in person, and to have the opportunity to do this work in such an efficient and team-oriented way, it really is a miracle that I think is worth celebrating each and every time. So over to you for where people can find you. Anything else you want to say about your work, Brittany?
Thank you so much for that amazing shout out. I'm glad that I was able to help you with this variety of things. And you're like a perfect client also because you need, a variety of different things that I can do. And it's a subject that I'm interested in as well. That's always such a blessing and such a privilege to talk about something positive, and anything related to mindset and personal development is definitely interesting to me. So this is such an honor to do the show every month. And for anyone who's interested in also getting together their e-learning content, needs branding help, or wants to do a podcast on a like-minded subject. I haven't had any other takers on that one yet, but who knows what will happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to probably start getting their podcasts together as we get into the new year. I think it's on a lot of people's vision boards coming up. I've been talking to various clients about doing that as well. So I have a website, which is brittanynew.com. And I also have a YouTube channel where you can find tutorials on how to do some of these things by yourself. I have a lot of Canva related tutorials, so you can learn how to design different things, small projects, and that is somewhere you can learn a little bit more about what I do as well. So my website and my YouTube channel. So
And
yeah, thanks for that shout out.
excellent. You're really, really welcome. I think it's well deserved too. And I think you also leave some links in the show notes
Yes.
sometime. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Both the website is in the show notes, and then my YouTube channel, it's just my name, Brittany New. You can find me there. So
Yes.
yeah.
And then one other thing too, in our newsletter that goes out, you're a regular feature there.
Okay,
giving thanks to
awesome.
you in the
Great.
newsletter, and you've even uh, posted a nice essay about your own sort of nightmares to
Nightmare
miracles
to miracle.
story
Yeah.
when you were traveling with your partner one time. So it's great, great. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, that's just love it. Love to hear you celebrating each time. So we'll jump into the lesson now. So we're doing lesson 44, and we did this lesson in February last year, 2024, when we were just getting started with vision, the theme of vision. And the first paragraph is very clear, uh, but in a heavy kind of way, in a heavily, I think, impactful kind of way. So I'll just read it, say a little bit about that, and then the rest of the lesson goes pretty fast. So, paragraph 1, it says, God is the light in which I see. God is the light in which I see. That's the opening affirmation. And then the paragraph itself says, today we are continuing the idea for yesterday, adding another dimension to it. You cannot see in darkness and you cannot make light, right? So that bears repeating. You cannot see in darkness and you cannot make light. You can make darkness and then think you see in it, but light reflects life and is therefore an aspect of creation. Creation and darkness cannot coexist, but light and life must go together, being but different aspects of creation. So I feel that this opening paragraph is really powerful, and it bears repeating and thinking about and digesting over time, right? So that, again, we're talking about an inner divine spiritual light, not physical light that the eyes are accustomed to. Nonetheless, I will say that when I lose something, under the bed or somewhere in the car. Or, it always helps to turn on a physical light. I mean, it always helps without a doubt. But that's a metaphor for an even more powerful inner light that this is all talking about. So I'm intrigued by these parts that say um, you cannot see in darkness and you cannot make light. You can make darkness and then think you see in it. So I think that the upshot of this section is that we have an enormous capacity as human beings for self deception, right? So we can't make light, we can't see in darkness, but we can make darkness and then think we're seeing in it. And I'm like, wow, okay, this really, I mean, he's got to slow my roll a little bit and get me to really ponder this and think about it. And so, and as I say from time to time, Jesus is the one teaching here. He's the coach, he's the teacher. You don't have to believe that for this to work for you, but it's kind of fun to think of Jesus having these real heavy duty philosophical chops. He's like, wow, okay. So, and this is 2000 plus years later after he came the first time, and he's updating. So he's like, yeah, you all are sophisticated, you can understand this stuff. So I'm not pulling any punches about what I'm telling you. So anyway, that all sets it up for us to go inward. The whole point of that is to have us go inward and have an intention to seek true inner light and to not put up with counterfeits or deceptions that we might uh, sway ourselves with. So let me check with you to see if you have any thoughts, questions, anything at all. And then, like I said, the rest of this goes pretty easily. And I'll just sort of summarize what the rest of it is all about in a minute.
Yeah, that little example you gave about looking under the bed and using the flashlight, it reminded me of a little prayer my dad used to tell us to say when we lost something, and we used to say a Bible verse, "That which is hidden shall be brought to the light." And
Mm.
that verse actually applies to like anything. It applies to deception or truths coming out, inner truths, outer truths. But we used to use it just to find objects too, and it usually worked. So that's what it reminded me of. And
Yeah.
yeah, you need light to find these things.
And it's shocking how easy it is once you turn the light on, whether it's
Yeah.
on your phone or wherever it is, like, oh, wow, that was going to be a real nightmare to find that. But, and again,
Yeah.
then I'm just reminding myself that this is all a metaphor for how
Hmm.
powerful the inner light is, right? So,
Exactly. Hmm.
and not to fall into deception about uh, whether we're actually in light or we're in darkness thinking we see.
Hmm.
So the rest of this lesson really boils down to these exercises that are just all about meditating, right? They're all about getting quiet and then going inward and making an intention to see this inner light and to connect with this inner light, right? So let's see, it says in paragraph 3, today we are going to attempt to reach the light inside, right? You will use a form of exercise which has been suggested before and which we will utilize increasingly. It is a particularly difficult form for the undisciplined mind and yet represents a major goal of mind training, right? The course is all about training the mind to go quickly and directly and powerfully to this inner light all the time. So it says there are 3 practice periods today, each lasting about 5 minutes, so spread through the day. That'll be 15 minutes. Um, and it's just a powerful reminder of several other lessons it's already alluding to. So I just talk about these real quickly to close out our focus on the passage itself, and then we'll talk about application real quickly. Um, so lesson 41, as an example, talks about the same meditation practice, but there the emphasis in lesson 41 is that there is no other solution that will work in life. We come up with lots of different solutions for things, lots of different subpar solutions to get us from point A to point B in life. And that lesson is making the point that the most important and powerful practice we can do is to connect with the divine inside. So in lesson 41, it's referring to connecting to the divine, right? In lesson 44, it's talking about connecting to the divine light, right? So that's one of the big distinctions is it's made a shift in lesson 44 to the light within, which emanates from the divine. Lesson 41 is about the divine itself. 44 is about the light. And then lesson 47 talks about the same meditation process, but there the emphasis is on the strength of the divine, on the strength of the divine inside, right? So over time, you're getting these multi-layered um, lessons about connecting with God within, connecting with the light within, connecting with the strength within. There's other places where it talks about connecting with the love within. Um, so just really reinforcing that there's something super precious on the inside for us to connect with. And that's it. I mean, that's really the heart of the lesson. You know, it bears reading and rereading over and over again. Um, so let me pause here, see if there's anything you want to comment on. I always don't have to. I'm not rushing into anything or pushing
Mhm.
into anything, Brittany. But anything there, and then we'll look at a little light application.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's going to be a really fun year going through the series on light because I don't think I wasn't in it with you when you did it previously. So this
Right?
is all a new series for me. And there are so many amazing characteristics of light, one being like the speed of light. So I hope that we get to dive into like each of these really unique characteristics that make it worth distinguishing from the light of God to the love of God to the strength of God. So
Yeah.
this is going to be, did we do love as a theme in the past? I think we might have
We've touched on it. I am
done,
sustained by the
yeah.
love of God,
Oh,
lesson 50. I think
mm,
we had that. And this is why it's
okay.
so powerful. We have this library because we can go both of us
Yeah,
can go
yeah,
look, and next time we can
exactly.
refresh each other if we remember to on the show. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but we have done that lesson for sure. I
Hmm.
think I can say that pretty
Okay.
confidently. Yeah. So, let's see. We are now at application, and then after that, I'll leave it to you if you want to do the call to action, which is the final part before we finish. Right. So, the application for me really is around every morning making sure that I start my day by tuning in to source, whether it's the love or the light or the strength or the any of these grounding powers. And at this point, it's almost like a healthy obsession because every time I make the connection, I experience some sort of miracle that I've been yearning for and wanting, whether it's a specific type of a client, more clients, a health problem that recedes, a relationship problem that the answer pops into my mind about, or personal meaning. So health, wealth, love, and enlightenment. It's like if I spend the time, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, joining with the inner light, connecting with it, meditating into it, there's something that happens. It
Hmm.
just dissolves it, you know. And I think I may have mentioned on the last call, um, after the tornado, the county inspector, one of the county inspectors, was taking me around the house, and it was funny because, again, no disrespect to her if she ever hears this. I mean, she was just doing her job, and so I'm just, illustrating something. But no disrespect to her or any of the other people who do this. But she was taking me around, and she was like, "Yeah, your house got slammed, and it's a mess, and it's not livable." And you see this wire hanging down over here, and you see the water heater over there, and wires. And she said, even if the electricity comes back to this area in, say, 2 weeks, which is optimistic, I'm going to send a note that they shouldn't turn the electricity back on in your house because it's not livable and it's actually dangerous. And I'm going to put a big red poster, seal it to the door of your house. And inside, I was laughing to myself because I was like, I'd be minced meat. I'd be completely a puddle of despair and pessimism if I didn't know the things we're talking about today, how to connect with the light inside. So I was just laughing to myself. I was like, yeah, okay, take me down that rabbit hole. Give me your best shot. Incidentally, the same thing that happened in 2014 when I was hospitalized for congestive heart failure and needed open heart surgery and all this other stuff. And I just made a list of the miracles I wanted, From that, no, I didn't want to die. They said I could die. Didn't want medication. Didn't want the surgery. Wanted to be able to be active. Same thing with this. I was like, yeah, just want to get on with my work and want to be in a place where I can have good Wi-Fi and telephone signal and do my work. So within 2 hours of her giving me this really bleak assessment, we had the new place that we're staying now. Golf course, clubhouse, restaurant, like a few steps better. And again, there was almost no effort involved in just making that happen. And so again, I'm talking about real, literal, concrete miracle breakthroughs by making this connection. Lesson 41, which isn't our lesson for today, but it says, if you make this contact with the divine on the inside, the light, the love, the power, the strength, you will laugh at fear thoughts when they show up, which is what I had with this woman, right? So anyway, that's the application we're talking about. In a business, somebody that you've got to let go, high level senior making a lot of money, they're going to fight you on it, or you yourself have made some sort of mistake, done something inappropriate. The the criminal justice system is on your case, they're after you, or you didn't do anything, but they're after you anyway. It's scary when people have that happen to them, or your family's falling apart, or somebody's gotten really sick. Doing this connection will always pull us out of the nightmare into the miracle. You and I talked a little bit about, yeah, we're not going to go too deep about it, but you look at the election, regardless of what side you were on, you know, you you know what it's like to have been in a nightmare. If you were on the previously losing side, that was a nightmare for you. If you're on the currently losing side, that's a nightmare for you in many ways. It's like we're in 2024, about to go to 2025. And what we're doing through A Course in Miracles is saying that there's always a position of miracle that's at nobody else's expense. You will be lifted up, protected, guided. You'll experience that you're really loved by the divine, and you have a way to go so you can genuinely help other people who seem to be in a deeper nightmare. So that's it. Anything you want to share or say, and then we'll look at call to application, and we're finished for today.
Yeah, that was beautiful how you just said it there on our prep for the call. You hadn't phrased it quite like that, but that was really nice because I said, yeah, this is a situation where one person's nightmare is another person's miracle, but a true miracle is not at anyone else's expense. So I love that. Love that. You should post that on Instagram, a little graphic, and then I'll share it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I will try. If I can't do it, you have full permission to go for it. Claim it
I'll
as
give you
yours.
credit. I'll give you
Yeah,
credit.
and we can share the credit, and you could actually even add yours, what you said earlier, right? Which is
Mm,
um, one person's meat is another person's poison, or
mm,
one person's miracle is another person's nightmare, and so on. And
mm,
then it just got metabolized
mm.
into this thing I was
Yeah.
saying. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you whatever you'd like, you're the boss of that. So
Okay. I'm not posting on social media that much these days, so I'll
you
probably
you can
refrain,
you
but
can send it to
you
me
should go
if you
for it. You're so active.
okay. If you have a
With your
clever way of
minions, I call them. I'm just kidding. No.
no, sorry,
You have your team. No.
if you have a clever way of doing it and you want to send it to me,
Yeah.
I'll post it. Or
Okay.
yeah. I mean, but no extra work. Again, only if you feel a burst of easy inspiration. But
Yeah, I can just see the quotation marks getting
yeah,
shared left and
yeah,
right.
yeah. From Dave and Brittany, Brittany and Dave.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
okay, so
Yeah. So I'll get into the application then, if that's okay.
yeah, sure,
Is that good? All
yeah.
right. So it's written here clear as day in the seventh chapter. It says, begin the practice period by repeating today's idea with your eyes open and then close them slowly. And maybe you can give your opinion as to why that's the instruction. So basically, you should be saying, God is the light in which I see, with your eyes open and then closing them slowly, and then repeating it several times more. Try to let it sink into your mind, let go of any interference, let go of any intrusive thoughts. And it says your mind cannot be stopped in this unless you choose to stop it. So it's taking its natural course. And that's kind of what we talk about as the beauty of truth and light is it's actually like the path of least resistance. So this is your mind's natural course, love and light and abundance. So all the other stuff is the unnatural course. It's nice to remember that. But
Yes.
if you can, is there any specific reason why it wants us to start with eyes open and then close, or is it just a relaxation technique?
Yeah, I think you're onto something about it being a relaxation technique. What I would assume is that it's trying to take us slowly from what we're accustomed to seeing with light, natural light, into the inner realms of light. And it doesn't want to
That's
do a
good.
shock treatment around it, is what I would think.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally when I listen to a guided meditation, it just suddenly says close your eyes. So that's like a different off and on style. So this is more gradual, like you're saying. Okay.
And it said the same thing in other lessons too, right? It's like,
Yes.
yeah, do this, do this, do this. But if it causes anxiety or fear, back up and do something that's a little bit more comfortable before you ease in, right? So it's very solicitous of our well-being and not trying to shock treatment us into something, you know.
Yeah, and on the opposite side, I've done in meditation classes where you've had your eyes closed for a long time, and then they ask you to cover your eyes with your hands and then open your eyes in your hands and then remove the hands away from your face slowly to
Okay.
reverse unshock your eyes or not shock. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Good to know. Yeah, good to hear. We at some point might visit meditation as a theme for you. We've done meditation not so long
Okay.
ago as a theme, but I see potential there too. And again, this is like just a quick point about let's say if we've got 12 themes and we, one per year for 12 years, and then we start over again. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for watching, and I think that's all for today, right, Dave? Is
It
that all you
is.
have? Okay.
It is all I
So we've
have.
got the application, we had the lesson that Dave gave us from A Course in Miracles. So thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you guys next month in December, which is our last month of 2024, but our second month in the new theme on
That's
light.
right.
So we will see you there.
Yes, excellent. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your comments.
Right.
Thanks for everything you send in to us. We love getting them. We love hearing that some of you are binge watching. It's great. And Brittany, thank you for another great show. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Likewise.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.